And so all this is based on the assumption that things will continue to be the way that they are. Science, I'm speaking of science. And, and then some people find that certainty in lovers. Oh, this person will always like some people find it in family, and some people find it in money. Like what we're looking for is some sort of certainty, some sort of idea of, oh, this is a constant, this will always be true, and there's a certain comfort in that. But in reality, it's just almost, it's not the case. So I think by examining what it is we get our certainty from, we can tell a lot about a person. But I think there's always also the thing that the more things you view as certain, the dumber you are, I think, or the weaker you are. And that's not to say those aren't necessarily bad things, they're very human things. But I think the more certainty you need in your life, that by definition means the less uncertainty you can handle. That means you're weak to some extent. And if you take too many things as certain, you'll have this very narrow worldview. Like you'll go through this life just like this. This whole world. It's like all these different things that you don't even concern yourself with because you're so certain of your own truths, your own values, and your own beliefs. You never care to explore anything else, so you just like keep going all the way like that. It's kind of sad. So there's always like there's always a balance. Like you need certainty, but too much of it is a bad thing. Like just be comfortable with some aspect of, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. Oh, I don't know what this is. I don't know what love is. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know myself. Like it's that's okay. It's all right. And another interesting thing was like knowing yourself, or like knowing oneself, is that there's always this sort of gap. And I'm thinking of a name for it. I've never heard this thought somewhere else, so it might just be an original thought. But imagine this is the person that you are right now. This is who you are. And then this is your current understanding of who you are, right? And so we think, oh, by paying attention to how we feel about things and how we conduct ourselves and how we act in situations and how we react to situations, and by all these things, we can, by figuring out how our parents treated us or mistreated us, or how our development played, like all these things, by doing all that, we think we're getting closer to understanding ourselves. But I think in the very act of the self discovery, we're changing as well. So the goalpost is always moving. Like the more you discover yourself, the more you change. The more there is, like you reintroduce that same gap that you need to rediscover. You can never bridge that, I feel like. Well, there might be a way. The good news is there might be a way. And that is with other people. Because when you're talking to someone else and they provide you an insight about yourself, you can bridge that gap without needing to change yourself. It's a cheat code, I feel like. Like maybe that's why lovers can help us understand ourselves better. Is because they, like, does that make sense? I don't know. I think this thought needs to be thought about a little more, fleshed out. But I think there's something here. There's some sort of truth to this. Maybe I should publish a book. Maybe I'll rattle some, publish it. Not about this, but like things in general. Like I'm keeping a Zettelkasten right now, and it's that's what I was reading from earlier. And there's a lot of cool stuff here. Like honestly, I'm not even joking. All these insights over time that I've had about myself. Other people, life in general. think, okay, I think intuition is a very, very important part of being human. When you don't really know, you can't prove it, but you just get this sense that something is a certain way. I think it's very, very important. And I think it's very important to cultivate that. And you can't cultivate intuition without judgment. So, okay, so before, I was very judgmental. I used to look at person, see how they're dressed, see what they look like, see how they behave, and I thought, oh, this person. I know who they are. I've clocked them. I have a rough idea of they probably come from so and so background. They probably feel this way about things and yada yada yada, right? But then I was told that judgment is a bad thing and you can't stereotype people like that. You have to get to know them first. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I must be a dick. So then I went to the other end of the spectrum where I was like, I judge nobody. I could look at anybody and be like, oh, I don't know this person. They might look this way, but I can't, how can I judge them like that? So I have to get to know them and yada yada yada. All that bullshit. Not bullshit, but you get what I mean. But in that process, if you if you don't make if you don't have a mental model, if you don't have an assumption about the person that you just seen or heard speak, then it's very difficult to develop intuition. Because, so let's say you did make an assumption. Let's say you were a very judgmental person. And then you made an assumption about this person. And then you went and talked to them. If that assumption was correct, then it builds up your wisdom about people. But if it's incorrect, it also builds up your wisdom about people. You correct that, and you're like, oh, this is not just like this. It can also be this way. It's like, it's very complicated. It's difficult to explain, but it builds your intuition. The danger of both sides is that if you judge someone and then just like disregard them, don't get to hear about what they have to say, you're just like, oh, this person is XYZ, I don't want anything to do with this kind of person, then you don't really learn anything or like build up your wisdom or anything. You're just like stuck in that demented sort of sphere that you only surround yourself with people that like never explore someone else because of that, and so that's bad. But the opposite extreme is when you're like, oh, I don't judge anybody, and everybody's like, oh, you can't make that assumption, yada yada yada. If you don't make that assumption and you go and talk to them, it still doesn't build your intuition, because there needs to be an initial assumption that needs to be either true or false to build upon. If there's nothing there, if you didn't think anything of them before, and you only take into face value what they actually are, you've achieved nothing in terms of your general wisdom about what people are really like and how wrong or right is your current understanding of how people conduct themselves and how people behave. So, like, the balance is somewhere between you make an initial assumption about a person and then you go and test it. And that, I think, is like the optimal way to go about meeting new people, while also like not stereotyping them, not disregarding them, but like making an assumption and then testing it out, seeing if you're right. And if you're correct enough times, then that means you're onto something. But also, you can never be like 100%. There's always that little gap. People are very surprising. People are very surprising. Surprising creatures. That's enough. One last thing.